was horrible, but I can actually see my face, so I imagine anyone who joins in will be able to see it as well.
Where I'm from, if we didn't keep
moving... shut up, child. Anyway, as the title suggests, I will be trying to use this video... Yes, I'm on a roof, but I will be trying to use this video to give you all the information that you need to get from the start of the game to Inazuma, this lovely place full of purple that I'm at right now. Now, obviously, I can't show you the process because it's a good, like, week-long process, and that's not an important part of it at all. This, however, is. Your quest log is vital, because this top section of it, the Archon Quests, will have whatever quest you need to progress to the next area. Those Archon Quests do get locked by your adventure rank at certain points, but if you do a healthy amount of exploring, or you do a bunch of other side quests, you shouldn't really be stuck locked for too long. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, of course, was the Archon Quest. You'll have to do that even to get all your freebie characters, but the next thing I want to talk about was your freebie characters. You start the game with your Traveler. It could be this guy, or it could be his sister, who I don't have a picture of because I only have one account. I can only stream from one account at a time, and I so far have not done any streaming from my alt account. By the way, yes, I'm wearing my cat ears again. They're cute. I like wearing them, even if I'm not as cute, even if I'm not cute enough to deserve to wear them. Deal with it. Okay, so you start the game with your Traveler. And the first element they get is Animo, or Wind, which is what my main one is currently in. My alt is in Earth, or Geo, but that's actually more useful for exploration if you have a backup Wind person, like Sucrose. But we're only talking about freebie characters today. So, freebie number 1, your Traveler. Freebie number 2, Amber. She's a pyro archer. You see that bunny she's holding? Her elemental skill drops that bunny on the ground. That bunny will taunt enemies that are nearby it, so they'll try to attack it, and after a short time, the bunny explodes, dealing damage to all of them and lighting them on fire. Lovely. Next freebie. Actually, the next freebie is not one of the next 2 freebies that are guaranteed that the quests give you, but rather the game before you get any more characters, the game will give you enough fates to do a wish, and it will encourage you to do what's called the beginner's wish. I would also encourage you to do the beginner's wish, because that gets you Noelle, arguably one of the strongest characters in the game. Some people don't like her because she's a defensive character instead of an offense, and offense is how you kill everything. But her special ability, Breastplate, puts up a shield that I don't think there's any enemy in the game that takes less than 3 hits to break it. Also, while Breastplate's active, anytime Noelle hits somebody, your entire party gets a small heal based off of her defense. So if you get her defense really high, that small heal might not be so small. Okay, so now the next freebie characters, you can do the quests for them in either order, but are Kaya and Lisa. As you notice way down at the bottom, I don't really care much for my Kaya. He's just there, doing things. Or doing nothing because I don't use him. He's a cryo sword user, and his special ability, I believe it's called Frost Gnaw, basically just throws a spray of ice out at enemies, kind of like throwing a handful of sand at somebody, but it's ice. I feel like it's kind of lame. In addition to these elemental skills, each character has an elemental burst. I'm not going to demonstrate those, but I can explain them as well. And Kaya's elemental burst is actually somewhat useful, but still, I don't like using him, and strategically, it's not really all that useful to use him until you start encountering electro things that you need to counter with him. Finally, we've got the other freebie character that I used a lot, Lisa, who is an electro catalyst user. She just literally throws lightning at people. Her special ability, if you tap it, will throw a ball of lightning that'll mark somebody, and a target can take up to 3 marks. And if you hold it, it'll rain down lightning on everybody around her. It'll do more damage to people based upon how many marks they have. Good? Good. Now that I've covered the base freebie characters, I'm not going to suggest any characters that I don't know for sure you can't get in your party for this guide. my recommended team build for the start of the game is your Traveler, Noelle, Lisa, and Amber. And there's a very good reason for this. Noelle, I pretty much already covered the reason for that. She's a good shield and a decent healer. Now, your Traveler, I didn't mention his elemental skill, is called Windblade. But if you hold it, you do a secondary ability to Windblade called Palm Vortex. You're gonna start most fights by shooting something with a fire arrow from Amber. If you hold down the aim button long enough, while Amber's aiming, her arrow will charge up and light on fire. Hitting somebody with this arrow lights them on fire. Run in with your Traveler and use Palm Vortex. That someone and any friends they have nearby should probably be dead by the time your Palm Vortex finishes going off, but if they aren't, then you can swap to Lisa and throw a bolt of lightning at them. When lightning meets fire in this game, as you may know from my elemental reactions video if you watched that, it causes overload, which does a pretty massive amount of damage. In fact, this is the most damage you can do with a freebie party. Is that 3-character combo. Now, there are 2 more freebie characters, but you don't get them right away. Barbara is in fact a freebie character, but you don't get her until you complete the Mondstadt story quests. She is a hydro catalyst, so she throws bubbles at people. Her elemental skill, I forgot what it's called, but her elemental skill, Let the Show Begin, makes this ring of rainbowy colored musical notes surround her, which is pretty and all. But what it actually does is it boosts her attack and deals small amounts of hydro damage to enemies that get too close, while healing your active party member. And just like Noelle's breastplate, if Barbara's attacking someone while Let the Show Begin is active, she'll heal your entire party. And her heal is by default better than Noelle's and scales off of her health. Okay? At this point, I should probably talk about elemental bursts. I tend not to use them because I paranoidly save things for times that never happen. But your Traveler, in his or her animo form, his elemental burst literally throws a tornado at your opponents. This tornado will pick up lighter weight opponents and drag them along, as well as swirl any elements they're affected with. Noelle's elemental burst will turn her sword into a massive stone, basically, and she'll start doing earth damage. While it's active, her attack is boosted by 1% of her defense. It's pretty nice. Amber's elemental burst is actually quite disappointing. She fires a volley of arrows up that come down on fire onto the heads of enemies nearby. It doesn't do much damage, but it does stuff. Kai's elemental burst surrounds him in a series of spinning icicles that will keep doing cryo damage to nearby enemies. Lisa's plants a lantern that will continually shock nearby enemies, and Barbara's is a big heal that is pretty much guaranteed to heal your party full. The other freebie character is John Ling here, but you're probably not going to see her if you're following my instructions to the letter, because your freebie copy of her is gotten from floor 3 of the Spiral Abyss, which we're not getting into in this video. Because the Spiral Abyss is kind of painful, because the enemies there are very much overpowered compared to the level that they are rated at. So yeah, for your starting team, I recommend Traveler, Noelle, Amber, and Lisa. And as soon as you get Barbara, whether you luck out and get one from a wish, or whether you beat the Mondstadt portion of the story and get your Barbara, I'd kick your Traveler off for Barbara, and then just swap back and forth between Barbara and Lisa for your main combat strategy. Because when wet things get struck by lightning, you deal Electro Charge, which is not quite as powerful as Overload, but a lot easier to set up. It's only slightly weaker, it does pretty close to the same amount of damage, and you're going to do a lot. So cool, we covered basic team builds. What about weapons? Well, as you see from what I have equipped on Lisa, you want to try to emphasize attack and elemental mastery on your catalyst users. You probably want to emphasize attack and physical damage on your melee people, but no, you don't really. Because if you're following my strategy that I used on my ult to do all this in a week, I know I have no life. Kiersey wanted me in the in her company, but didn't want to do any gaming with me or anything else with me for a while. So during that while, I spent a week just taking my ult and going from level 1 all the way through to Inazuma. She's level 35 right now. But anyway, so here's how you want to structure your stats, really. You want to focus everyone, except for Barbara and Noelle, on attack and elemental mastery. I didn't do a good job of that on my Traveler on this account, but by the time I knew how to handle my stats, I had already stopped using my Traveler and was only leveling him because he was there and he was a core character, and there are some quests that force you to use your Traveler. But for the most part, attack and elemental mastery, them are the big two. You can ignore that on Noelle because Crystallize is not a very powerful elemental reaction, and instead you want to focus on attack and defense for her. As you notice, my defense on Noelle is scaled through the roof. And then over on Barbara, it's just going to be HP. Focus on HP. If you can get attack and elemental mastery in addition to HP, do it. Artifacts follow the same rule. I have defense on this one because everyone can benefit from a little bit of defense. And this is actually a decent set for a fresh... this Berserker's set that I just actually unequipped, sorry, is actually a pretty decent set for a starting character. You're not going to have purples yet, obviously, but even greens and blues will, even greens and whites will do. These sets: Adventurer, Instructor, Berserker, and where is Lucky Dog? Lucky Dog. These sets don't even come any higher than blue, which is sad because that's only halfway up the quality list. But Lucky Dog is a good defense set. You get 2 pieces of that on Noelle, paired with a what's the attack set? Was that was Berserker? Yes, Berserker. It's crit rate, actually. Meanwhile, everyone else you're going to want to try for Berserker and Instructor, because Instructor, as you see, the 2-piece set is an 80-point elemental mastery boost. Barbara is where Adventurer comes in. You can take the Berserker away and give her Adventurer 2-piece for an additional 1,000 maximum HP.
You know, there are better ways.
So I know I ran through a lot of information real quick there, but that's the basic gist of how I built my team when I was going through doing things on my ult. Obviously, you're not always going to have the right set pieces for what you want, but work with what you have and get as close to the sets that you want to use as possible. The next part I wanted to talk about was I already told you about the quest log, but if you're in your quest log here and you click on a quest, that tracks the quest. You see I've got a marker 2,000 meters away in that direction, saying if I go this way, over there, there's something to do for my current quest I'm on. In most cases, the something to do should be optional, but if you're old enough to know how to read, or if you have someone looking over your shoulder to read for you, there will be quest text to tell you literally what you're supposed to do in that area. And that works for every quest in the game, including this Ascension quest that I am not doing because it's keeping my adventure rank from going above 50. When your adventure rank goes up, so too does your world level, and that's where enemies get stronger. And currently, nothing requires anything more than 50 adventure rank. Now, the last thing I want to talk about before I got into what is probably going to be the fun part of this video for everybody, because there's been a total lack of any action-y gameplay so far. But I'm fine with that. I don't mind info dumping. I actually like info dumping more than action stuff. But the last thing I want to talk about was this, your Adventurer's Handbook. I make the mistake of calling it the Adventurer's Journal a lot. It's basically the same thing. There's 9 chapters of stuff in this thing. And as you notice, in addition to having some reward here, some just goodie to help you progress, you see this green icon with 100 in there. That's adventure experience. It just helps increase your adventure rank. When in doubt, consult this Adventurer's Journal. It will give you guidelines on things you can do that are not quests. You may, again, if you're still young enough that you're not a good reader or don't even know how to read yet, you may need someone to read it for you. But it gives you these little guidelines like open 15 chests, and you do that, you get 100 adventuring experience. Everything in here is worth 100 adventuring experience, plus some additional reward that'll help you progress faster and easier. As you can see, my main has all 9 chapters complete. My alt, I think I left off on chapter 5. And then, if we leave the handbook part and go down 1 level, you'll see daily commissions. These are optional daily quests that pop up once a day, every day, once you hit adventure rank 12. I would recommend never ignoring your daily commissions because they're worth 100 adventure rank experience a piece. Plus, oh no, they're worth 250 a piece. Wow. I have been underestimating them this whole time. So, plus 500 additional adventure rank experience once you finish all 4 and go back to the Adventurers Guild to turn them in. That makes for a whopping 1,500 adventure experience a day just doing these. Over the course of a week, that adds up to 10,500 adventure rank experience. That is not a small number. I've already done... I didn't do my daily commissions, but I've already done 5 daily commissions thanks to doing Kirsty's and I think helping one additional friend with one of theirs. Oh, and the last thing I'd like to point out, the last thing before we get to actually fighting a boss, this thing that I can't scroll up to that you can see above my cursor on the map here. Resin. This is useful stuff. I don't remember what adventure rank you have to be before you can start using it, but you use it for everything. You use it for looting bosses, like the Hypostasis here that I'm probably going to fight for your entertainment. Use it for looting these ley lines. You use it for looting weekly bosses, like Storm Terror here. Lots of rewards to be had. Or Andreas. I don't recommend weekly bosses. I do recommend, as soon as you're comfortable fighting them, to do at least this guy, because you want your Lisa to be as powerful as possible. On that note, it's time for me to actually fight something. Because I'll explain the 3 bosses that you'll need to be able to level up and ascend your people. Because you can level up your people and your weapons with just experience books or combat in the case of your people. Do I have anyone who's not at their current max level that I can actually show you the experience book thing with? Fraser! See these experience books, you can add them to a character. I'm not going to use them because I don't really want to level Razor right now. But you can use them to level up a character, and then once they're at once they reach their max level for the time being, you can ascend them if you have the right materials. Dropped from these bosses. One of these materials is going to be a common object you can pick up in the wild, and the other material is going to be a common material dropped by a common enemy type. I'm going to fight this cube here with just Klee so I can slow down the fight and kind of show you all its attacks. Wake up, sir. He does a fist thing, which sometimes he follows up with rock, paper, scissors. And that is a full attack. There isn't actually an achievement for letting yourself get hit by that whole attack and surviving. I don't recommend that achievement. I don't like it. He does this drill attack. We don't like that either. He'll often follow that up with this throwing cubes at you attack. And as you notice, dodging to the side, just a dash, a sprint to either side when he's charging at you is an effective way to dodge both the fist and the cube. And if you dodge the fist, you don't have to worry about the scissors or the paper of the rock, paper, scissors combo. As for the cubes, you just keep walking in any direction. This attack is actually kind of interesting. He spins his cubes out and spits lasers at you. You can actually come in here while he's doing this safely, but you have to make it back out and before he finishes, or else he's going to crush you like that. That's another drill. Hi, how you doing? And more cubes to throw at me. Just walk in any direction and you're golden. If you have an archer like Amber out, you can be shooting him while you're dodging those cubes because they fire that slowly. In the case of me being Klee, her attack stopped her movement too much for me to be able to actually dodge while fighting back. So, actually, Amber is better for this fight than Klee is, even though Klee's a 5-star. Oh, this attack! I very much hate this attack because it's mostly just a reflex test. If you are like me and have bad reflexes, you can completely block it by hiding behind one of the pillars until the attack is over. But we're not done. No, no, no. He's got one more trick up his sleeve that I'm not going to finish him off till he shows us. Show me your secrets, box! That's not a secret. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. I'm not finishing off until you show me your secrets. I can't jump on you, can I? No, I cannot. Secrets? You owe me secrets? That's a drill. It's not very secret. Those are blocks. I played with them when I was in kindergarten. Oh, come on. Are you really going to be that stingy with your secrets? Another punch. See, he doesn't always follow up the punch with the rock with paper scissors, but... Here we go. I'm going to be trapped in this cage. If you can see the first one of these pillars drop and get out of here before they all drop, you get a free chance to beat the crap out of him. But if you don't, then you're stuck in here while he rains lightning down upon you.
That really hurt.
So that is Aleph. Every trick up his sleeve, all covered, except for this last thing. That happens when you get his health low enough. He'll make these prisms.
La la la. Yeah.
That you gotta break all three of the prisms using elemental reactions. Or else he regenerates some health. Now, fortunately, he does not keep. He only returns as many prisms as you didn't fail to break the first time around. So, I broke 2 prisms. He's only got 1 left, so I don't gotta panic and try as hard to break the last prism, since it's the same time limit. Just to break 1 prism. And when he dies, he makes this flower bloom. You walk up, interact with the flower, you can loot it for some boss material. In this case, lightning prisms and the purple rock. Amethyst, that's what it is. Whew! So he's who you're going to be fighting to be able to upgrade Lisa, or if you got her official. She's another good lightning user, but I don't recommend using her unless you're good at using bows. Pew pew, bow. Pew pew. Pew pew. So, I'm going to visit a Statue of the Seven to heal up. Oh, by default, the Statue of the Seven will heal you up to 50% when you approach them. Now, I can't promise you anything about the controls for the PC or for mobile, but somewhere in this interface will be the option to be able to toggle that 50% up to 100% so that you'll just get healed full when you walk up to the statue. That is all about, well, that is not all about statues, but that's all you need to know for now about statues. Because for now, we're going to go see our Pyro Hypostasis friend. As you can tell from how far away he is down in Liyue, you really don't need to be ascending characters until you're at least done with the Mondstadt portion of the quest. Yes, the enemies will start to get up into the low to mid 30 level range, and without ascension, your characters will be stuck down at the level.
I could get used to this.
Stuck at level 20 max. And actually, because it's easier with the freebie characters, I'm gonna switch to the freebie characters to show you the Pyro Hypostasis, which I think I showed you guys in my first video. But just in case I'm wrong, I don't have a team using Lisa anymore. Why do I not have a team using Lisa anymore? I really should have.
I'll keep an eye on you.
Okay. No. I didn't switch to that team. I fixed that team, but I didn't switch to that team. So here we have a team that is literally the team I recommend for beating all of Liyue in. It's in the wrong order for my liking, because I generally like to have Noelle at the top and the two catalysts at the bottom. But I'll work with this. Welcome to the Pyro Hypostasis. If I did show you this fight, I showed it to you using Barbara and Fischl, which is a great combo for it. But this is about freebie characters. Oh. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You so big and bad, huh? Shooting at a little girl. So he's got that attack, and this attack, which both fire projectiles at you. He's also got one that fires homing projectiles at you that he doesn't use half as often. But if you just keep, here's my strategy I told you about with Barbara and Lisa, just toggling back and forth between the two of them to trigger all the electro-charged hits in the world. Now, for this phase, when he's slamming his face down, you want to get him to slam his face down, quickly dodge to the side, and throw bubbles at his face. And this is how you easily beat the Cryorigid Spine with Barbara and Lisa alone. This works at any level, but I didn't want. But just like when I was fighting the Electro Hypostasis with Klee, I didn't want to kill her. I don't want to kill him too fast because I want to showcase more of his skills. This is the attack that looks the scariest of his, but as you notice, if you just walk in a cute little circle, most of this attack will just miss you from your walking. And if any of these get too close to exploding while they're under your feet, and you have a reaction time better than mine, you can dash to quickly avoid it. Oh, there's those homing fireballs. I was wondering if those would come up this fight. But he's doing the machine gun while the homing ones are chasing me. Is that legal? Here's Barbara's healing in effect, but that's it for the Regispine. The Regispines don't really have that many tricks. And same deal. You beat them, you loot the flower. I'm not looting the flowers right now because I've been saving my resin to spend alongside Kirsty because we've been spending it on about the same things lately. Now the last one is a little bit harder to fight, and I'm probably going to be using food in the process of fighting it. The last boss is going to be important to your core party here. Wait, I forgot. Your core party includes a Geo person. So there's two more bosses that are important to your core party. One of them is a pain in the butt, and nobody likes it. And if you have trouble with it, you see that 9-digit number down in the bottom right corner of my screen? I'm going to show you how to add me as a friend. I'm not necessarily on all the time, but I am pretty high level and perfectly willing to help out anybody who needs it. So you take that number in the bottom right corner, you go to your friends list, this middle tab of it gives you the option to enter someone's user ID to search for them. So let's say I memorized that number, 601-268-411. Can I look myself up? 601-248. Was it 641? No, 411. And search. Really? There's someone's got the same... Oh no, I searched 248, not 268. Can I search for myself? You cannot search for yourself, but if you did search for my number, that number right there, let's just go search for that random person that I saw before. You'll see a page like this come up, but instead of that portrait, it'll have Kaching, who I use as my portrait right now, and the name Icarus. Click X to add friend. I'll see your friend request here. Next time I'm online, I'll add you back, and we can try to talk about a good time for me to help you with your hypostasis. That being said, I'm still going to try to show you the hypostasis, even if I run away crying from it right now, because it's a little bit painful. It's a little bit frustrating. Lately, I've used Ganyu to make it a lot easier, but I can't show you how to fight it with Ganyu because of the fact that that would be cheating, seeing as you most likely won't have a Ganyu. If you do get a Ganyu, great. I recommend you use her like right away. She could take maybe Barbara's spot on the team. You won't be able to do the electro charge strategy, but Ganyu is absurdly powerful.
Or a fool who trespasses upon the waters of Chingsa.
Now the annoying thing about this thing is it doesn't fight you. It doesn't fight you directly.
Take on many forms.
It spawns these blobbies. And I got a finch right away. Oh dear, no, not a finch. Okay, you see that slam he keeps doing? There's a big version of it. You have to perfectly iframe dodge that because there really is no way to get out of range of it.
The power of water.
And then when he dies,
is its ability to take
he
any
explodes.
shape.
You gotta jump off the platform and do a plunge attack to dive down in the water for safety.
Yep.
These cranes are mostly harmless. They actually hit pretty hard, but they're also pretty easy to dodge because all they do is that one wave splash attack.
Without solid ground, terrestrial creatures become simply helpless.
After you kill the first 2 waves, she will take away 2 of your 9 platforms. Because she's just nice like that. You're doing it this way. I prefer when she takes platforms away that are side by side. It makes it a little easier.
The power of water is its ability to take any shape.
And then she starts summoning 2 groups of enemies at a time. Oh no, not the
You're in
duck!
for a little shock.
As you see, the ducks will just waddle around, chasing you, and you'll take damage if you're inside their splash zone.
Ignorant of water's treasures,
She also summoned some flying birds. That's what you use Lisa's held shock attack for.
Come a little closer.
Ah, frog,
Blitz.
not the frog. Okay, the frog is like a combination between the cranes and the finch. I do not like the finch, so hence I do not like the frog. And like the finch, the frog explodes. Ow! And I didn't time my dodge correctly, so I have to heal. But after 2 more waves, she drops 2 more of your platforms. And she gave me a really bad combination of platforms here today.
The power of water is its ability to take any shape.
Okay, what do we got? What do we got? We've got more cranes and some pigs. Ow! Yeah, as you just saw, that actually hits pretty hard if you get hit by it. I want to take out these cranes before I deal with the pigs, because the pigs are easy. They're just... There we go. So the pigs, they regenerate health if you don't kill them fast enough. And their only attack is that charge attack. You saw him nearly nudge me off the platform with. So yeah, the pigs are easy as long as you have them by themselves instead of having the cranes alongside them. Bap, bap.
As long as rain
and that's it.
And rivers flow.
She does additionally have. Oh, I think there was one thing that she could summon that she didn't use against me just now, but it's not coming to mind. Squirrels or ferrets. I think they're supposed to be ferrets, but I always call them squirrels. They look like squirrels to me. They're a lot like the ducks, but instead of continuous damage, they just have a lot of really fast attacks that they will corner you and bash you with, because they're kind of rude like that. So I'm going to heal up at a statue again, and then we're going to go see Himmel, the last one of the bosses that is relevant to this party. Now, as you might have been gathering from the elements that the enemies are, the Regispines for upgrades for Amber, the Oceanid is for upgrades for Miss Barbara here. Now we're going to go to the boss that you go for upgrades for Noelle. The Geo Hypostasis. It's a rock made of rocks. It's about as straightforward as a boss gets. And I will, after I show you this guy, I will get back to talk about adventure rank, because there's a little bit I didn't cover in the process of rampaging through information, just word vomiting out everything that I said you needed to know, which is mostly what you need to know. I like the peaceful music sometimes. I like the peaceful music a lot. I kind of miss it because of the fact that nowadays I only log onto the game for like a half hour at a time, unless I'm on my alt doing a whole bunch of quests at once. After I finish streaming and this video just stays up there, I'm gonna have to adjust the tags to include the four bosses I showed you. Although, if I feel like showing you only like two more bosses, I will have covered all of them. Maybe I should do that. Maybe indeed. The other two bosses are the Cryorigid Spine, which is you'd go to if you wanted material to ascend Kaya. Ew. And the Animo Hypostasis, so it's a box made of wind. Greetings, sir. It's like bubbles. Bubble, 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 bubble. You can't hurt him until he's exposed his core like that. And his first trick he does, as you see, is he makes these pillars he hides on top of. You can't hit him up there. Like any other hypostasis, you can't hit him until he exposes his core, but you also can't hit him up there. Unless you're using an archer, then you could hit him when his cores explode and is sitting on top of a pillar, but that's going to make for a really long fight. And you're still going to need a greatsword or bombs to be able to break the pillars anyway, because his regenerate phase, since every hypostasis goes into a regenerate phase... Oh, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. You saw a couple of his attacks now. You saw him make a shockwave from the pillars on, and you just saw him shoot pellets at me. And you also saw his missile attack. Okay, now he's going to do his big shockwave, where I'm not going to try breaking the pillar at all while he does this, but I'm going to make the dome. You break that rock, you get a safety dome where the attack won't hurt you, but when he does this, all the pillars make shockwaves. There's no safe place to stand. And I think that's all of his attacks, so I'm going... All of his attacks while he's on a pillar. He's got two or three special attacks that he does when he's off a pillar, including one of them that the Electro Hypostasis uses as well that I forgot to show you. And he didn't do it, so I couldn't show you anyway. Okay, where are you going? Which pillar do you want to be on? This one? And you're going to make it make a shockwave, so I can't stand too close to it. Okay. Nice talk. I'll talk to you again when you're on the ground. As you might be noticing, this guy has a lot of defense and health. So this fight is more like a marathon than a sprint. Also, your best bet for damage, I don't know what it is. I have not found a good way to damage this guy. You can't do elemental reactions on him. So you kind of just have to deal with what you can do. Oh, cool, he's doing one of his special attacks. So this attack, he'll go ahead and make these rocks fall everywhere. You kind of got to pay attention to where those rock falls are, because standing in them will kill you, and will kill you quickly. Unless you've got a massive amount of defense, which, I mean, I've got a decent amount if I switch to Noel, but not enough to survive that. So we just wait out the attack. He normally doesn't do that attack until you've broken all of his pillars, but sometimes he'll do it when you've broken just two. Oh, I need Noel, sorry. And this fight is going to take forever, so this one I might just run away from after I've gotten a chance to demo all his attacks, because by now you know the gist of the end of the fight. Finish him off and loot the flower. Looting the flower costs you 40 original resin. Your maximum stack is 160. And I think you can actually fight these guys right away if you want to, and you have access to your resin right away. It just won't mark them on the map for you, so you just need to find them and fight them if you want to. Their base level is 36, and I did fight them at level 10 when they were 36. Or at least I fought the Electro guy, Aleph, at level 10. It wasn't a very smooth fight because it was my first time fighting him, so I didn't know what to expect, and I think I barely made it out of the fight alive. But if anything, that can be a testament to the fact that it is beatable at that level. Don't mind the wind vortex. That's the special bow I've got on Amber. We're gonna make him use some of his attacks when he's off the pillar, though. Bap, 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 bap. Oh, this again. Where are your rocks? You don't have rocks from the ceiling. Well, I mean, there is no ceiling, but there's this hammer attack. That one has a massive range, and I don't like it. I think Lisa's my best damage for this. Lisa or Amber. And yeah, he'll do any one of his attacks that he does on a pillar when he's on the ground. Yeah, she does smaller hits, but she does them so much faster that she does more damage. But for the sake of simplicity, I'll stick to Noel.
I'll catch up.
Move back.
Beat.
Okay, he remade his pillars. He does that when he gets tired of hitting you, or missing you, as is the case with me being used to all his attacks. But when he gets low on health, he'll go to the middle of the arena and make 3 pillars. Just like the Electro Hypothesis prisms, you gotta break all 3 or else he heals small amount of health back. If you don't break them all in one go, don't worry about it. You'll just have to beat him back down again a little bit. And he'll only have whatever pillars were left when he remakes them later. Instead of making you wait through all that to be able to see that firsthand, I am gonna leave. Because Himmel here is not as interesting as I like to think he is, and as Kirsty likes to think he is. Ah, he's shooting pellets at me! And he can't hit me over here, so here's where I'll teleport away. Goodbye! Now, the last thing I want to talk about is getting back on adventure rank, because quests, bounties, commissions, and adventurer's journal aren't the only way for you to increase your adventure rank. Anytime you spend resin, you get some adventure rank experience. I believe it's 100 for every 20 resin spent. So these bosses that take 40 resin to fight or to loot will give you 200 adventure rank experience. Also, each Statue of the Seven you find gives you another 50 adventure rank experience. Each waypoint you unlock, another 50 adventure experience. Every domain you unlock, that's these diamonds on the map, another 50 adventure experience. Although these domains are locked behind their own adventure rank requirements. So if you actually do run out of quests to do and have your adventurer's journal all caught up to the point where it wants you to go to this Statue of the Seven that you can't reach till adventure rank 18, when you can progress the Archon Quest enough to get through a wind wall that actually appears right here, then by all means, find Statue of the Seven on areas of the map that still have this starry background where you can't explore anymore, as long as it's not in the red area, because the game won't actually let you go into the red area. And if you have areas of the map that look like this that are all clear, find waypoints you haven't activated. I've got a few down here in Inazuma still, on the Seirai Island area. They'll show up in gray, and you'll have to find and interact with them to turn them on. That's 50 adventure rank experience, and another waypoint to help you fast travel around the map. Also, any chests you find, they're worth anywhere from 20 to 50 adventure rank experience based upon the quality of the chest, and you'll stumble across them everywhere. There are at least 5 in Mondstadt alone. Not to mention how many are scattered about the wilderness in places that may or may not be dangerous. So this game gives you all kinds of ways that look slow because they reward such small numbers, but all kinds of ways to increase your adventure rank experience to make things better for you, to make your parties, to unlock more content and make your party stronger. So I guess the key point to take away is never stop exploring, never give up on finding new ways to do things. And if this party actually doesn't work out for you, this exact party I have here, that I beat most of the game with, I think it's a great party, but for all I know, you might actually find a way to do better with characters like Kaya and your Traveler. So also don't hesitate to experiment with different team builds. One thing I definitely recommend though is do not let your adventure rank get above 30 before you finish Liyue's quest series, because by default the boss of the Liyue quest series, Harbinger number 11 of the Fatui, is level 45. That isn't too bad of a fight, the level 45 version of him. But as soon as you cross adventure rank 30, I think his level jumps up to 60. Don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I fought him, and the last time I fought him was below adventure rank 30. With a team of level 50 party members equipped with level 50 weapons and level 4 artifacts. So, yeah, don't lose your adventurous spirit. Don't give up on your journey. and enjoy exploring. That's what most of this game is about. Have fun, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.